Developments out of the Middle East tonight as tensions rise in the region. President Biden says the U.S. and Britain will continue strikes against Houthi rebels in Yemen. So far, those strikes have not stopped the attacks on ships in the Red Sea. Meantime, Pakistan launched airstrikes against Iran following a deadly attack on Pakistani soil. And this all comes as Israel's prime minister says that he has told the United States he opposes a Palestinian state once the war ends. So for more on the potential escalation, terrorism expert Tom Mockaitis is joining us from DePaul. Professor, thanks for being with us. Let's start with those attacks, the strikes from the U.S. and Great Britain here. A fifth strike here. It seems like it is not having an impact. What do you know about the targets, and when will those start to take the desired effect, do you think?
Well, the Houthi militias are, in fact, an Iranian-backed Shia group that have been involved in the Yemeni civil war, which has been going on for a long time. And Iran has been supplying them with those weapons. My best guess is that a lot of those missile launchers are mobile, and that may explain why they're continuing to be able to hit ships, or at least to fire at them. And it's having a negative effect on shipping because a lot of companies are choosing not to go through the Red Sea, which is adding to time, cost, and delay. And the question will be, will we escalate to any kind of ground activity, which of course is going to be would be a serious thing both politically at home and internationally.
It's not just the strikes, it's also the sanctions here in the U.S. says that this is not going to harm the millions who are starving right now. What is the way around that, and what do you see as the consequence?
You mean the sanctions placed on the Houthi?
Yes.
They're not dependent on any kind of international stuff. They get everything they need from Iran. So and we're already sanctioning Iran, so it's going to have zero effect at all. And you're absolutely right. Sanctions never really hurt leadership or people in power. They always hurt the ordinary.
None of this is happening in Israel, by the way, but with the war going on there between Israel and Hamas, is this all interconnected, or is it just something that is happening concurrently because of different tension there in the Middle East?
Well, you've got 5 different things going on, 4 of which are connected. Hezbollah is firing into northern Israel, Iran firing at Syria and Iraq, arguing that they're hitting Israeli intelligence centers or U.S.-supported groups and so on. And the Houthi are, in fact, deliberately, they're out and saying that this is to retaliate for Gaza. What's going on between Iran and Pakistan is a little stranger. It's about a separatist movement in Baluchistan, and the two really, having similar interests, ironically. And I'm not really sure how this got out of control the way that it did, but I expect that cooler heads are prevailing, and that one's going to kind of calm down pretty quickly.
But meantime, people are dying there, and while that's going on in Israel, the Prime Minister there, Benjamin Netanyahu, says that he, once this war is over, still opposes a Palestinian state here. Let me ask you, is that his final word on this? Because the United States seems to think that, no, he is just doing that to sort of stay in power and there is room for negotiation.
It's been his position for his entire time in office and long before. I mean, I have no reason to doubt him. The only thing that is going to get any kind of movement is to make U.S. aid to Israel contingent on, compliance with these international calls for both, a reduction in the violence in Gaza and some kind of a 2-state solution. As long as we write a blank check, don't expect anything to change. And I think yes, absolutely, he's playing this to stay in power. But I think even if he were not, he would be taking the same stand. And I think, everybody's just got to keep the pressure up on him for this.
Final question here in just a few seconds. Do you see any way that this is not going to become a full-blown escalation in the Middle East?
I think, well, it depends what you mean by escalation. I do not see an international conventional war. Iran does not want that, which is part of the reason I think we're not striking them directly. But you can expect them to continue to use what they call this axis of resistance, their various proxy groups throughout the region, to kind of destabilize things, hit back at the U.S., and try to, retaliate for what Israel's doing in Gaza. The biggest risk to me is it's spreading into Lebanon. With some kind of direct Israeli action, a ground invasion of some sort. That worries me a great deal, but hopefully that won't happen.
We'll be watching. Glad to get your perspective. Tom Mockaitis from DePaul, thanks so much.
Happy to do it.
Okay.